Welcome to Cocktails with the Crew, a podcast about wedding planning. You're listening to episode 14. Hello and welcome to Cocktails with the Crew. This is episode 14, and today we are talking about honeymoons. I'm Jessica Burke with New Orleans Weddings Magazine.
And I'm Jessica Talzak with Republic NOLA.
And we are very excited to have you back. We have some great guests coming on today.
Yeah, and to kick off our kind of honeymoon theme, we are starting with our cocktail of the day. So this time we have a Caliente cooler.
Spicy.
Yeah, which is a great summertime, kind of going with the tropical vacation type of theme. That's what a lot of people do for their honeymoon.
Yes.
So this one is Casamigos Blanco Tequila. And then it's got a honey sriracha simple syrup, lime juice, and pineapple juice. And it is refreshing and spicy and everything you want in a drink. So
Can't wait to try
yeah,
it.
let's try that.
All right.
Get our cheers on.
All right, there we go. Yeah, thank you so much.
Ew.
All right, cheers.
Cheers.
All right, and we have, might as well just jump right in.
Yeah.
We have our very first guest, Miss Shannon LeBlanc with Paradise Vacation Escapes. Love to welcome her in, and we're going to get started talking about heading out of town.
Yeah.
So,
Hi.
I'm going to give you this one.
Okay, great.
There
Thank
you go. We got some yummy treats here.
Yeah,
Please have a
great.
seat.
Cheers.
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 Awesome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And so, Shannon, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with Paradise Vacation Escapes, because you own the company, correct?
Yes, I am the Chief Romance Officer
Chief
of
Romance.
Paradise Vacation Escapes.
There you go.
I specialize in honeymoons and destination weddings, destinations outside of the United States, so in these exotic places.
Okay.
And I've had Paradise Vacation Escapes since 2009 now, so
that's
10
awesome.
years.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I just really wanted to hone in on that romance niche because I feel it's so important for couples, especially just starting out, to take that time to really focus on themselves and not the wedding.
Yeah.
And, just realize how important a honeymoon is.
Yes. So that brings us, I guess, to that first question. Why is it so important to take a honeymoon?
Well, to me, it's very, very important. It's almost more important than the wedding, if I dare say. Some wedding planners might not agree, but the honeymoon is about the couple. It's starting your happily ever after. I mean, it's the next chapter. It's putting aside, because most couples are engaged, typically
1 year at least.
Yeah, at least a year.
Yeah.
So that whole time, that
It's a lot
whole
of stress.
year, it's stress, it's wedding talk.
Right.
Yeah.
And they kind of sometimes forget to engage with each other.
Yeah. So it's
So the honeymoon is the perfect time to lay that foundation for the wedding, for the marriage.
Yes.
And that's why a honeymoon is so important. And it's a statistic that couples that do not honeymoon right after their wedding, they are at a higher rate of getting a divorce.
Really?
Yes.
I did not know that.
It is.
That is, wow. I'm literally floored over here.
How do you feel about when people take a honeymoon right after the wedding versus if they wait a little while just due to schedules and things like
Right.
that?
So it's okay, whatever works with your schedule, as long as you don't put it off. Because so many times I just recently did it was a honeymoon 20 years later, because they kept saying next year,
Yeah.
next year we'll do it. And next year turned into 20 years.
Wow.
They ended up having kids, career changes, and never got around to it. So I definitely recommend doing it within the first 3 months
Okay.
to really get that newness and that, because when you go on a honeymoon, you're experiencing these new things together, and things are still new, and it just creates something that you can't redo.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So now, have you dealt with a lot of couples that have different opinions about where they should go?
Yes, I have.
So
And
what do we do if one has a very different idea than the other about what this honeymoon should be?
well, we kind of sit through consultations, and I hear both sides and play mediator.
Okay, so you can be that neutral third party.
Exactly, and point out the pros and cons of each thing, and if somebody really wants beach, but somebody wants mountains, then I find that island that has both.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You know, so I kind of find something to make it work.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and you know, and it's part of the learning what each other's likes and dislikes are and how to accommodate each other.
Yes, exactly. I mean, on that note, like, if you have those strong personalities, how can someone advocate for their needs? Do you help them step in and advocate for themselves and saying, like, if someone's being very quiet and not really speaking up, have you ever had that situation where you thought something might be off and you're like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah, and it's not it doesn't happen often, but it does happen where somebody, you know, you can kind of tell and get a feeling where maybe it's the bride who had her heart set on, you know, an Italy honeymoon, and he just really just wanted to lay on the beach. So,
there's beaches in Italy.
Exactly. We find that compromise and just really just asking a lot of questions and being aware of what they want. And by asking those questions, you know, they're surprised by some of the answers.
Oh,
so, yeah, it's just, you know, just being intuitive and asking a lot of questions and the right questions.
Okay. So what are some of those questions?
So I actually have a guide that you can get a free download. You can go to honeymoonquestions.com.
Okay.
And it's 30 questions to ask each other before planning a honeymoon.
Oh, that sounds
perfect.
It's perfect. And what I really recommend couples do is to download them, print them out, and answer them separately. And then plan a date night where we're on neutral ground.
Nice.
And compare the answers.
Yeah.
But, you know, there are questions like, what is the number one most important thing that you want on this honeymoon? And what is your vision?
Do you want to relax? Do you want an adventure?
Do you want relaxation?
Right.
Do you want museums? Do you want tours? Do you want non-stop activities?
Exactly.
And a lot of times if you're asking those questions to them together, one might agree with the other one and say, well, you know, whatever he wants or whatever she wants, whatever makes her happy wife, happy life.
Yes.
So,
that's
so this, I like to do it where they can compare it.
Right.
Yes.
So also like going with, you know, kind of the difference in trend right now where people are kind of doing these longer engagements, right? They maybe have been dating for a really long time. They don't need to register for pots and pans and all that kind of stuff. How do you feel about sites that allow people to register for their honeymoon experiences?
Oh, I think it's great. I think it's a great opportunity. Yes. And it's, you know, it's like for that couple that has everything already, I mean, why not?
Right.
And the only pullback or pushback I see from that is from the older generation. Yeah. You know, they think they should get them a piece of china.
Yeah.
Well, but I think I like the honeymoon registry versus the give money registry.
Right.
Because I feel like those are great because they allow you to register for these experiences. So you can be like, I want to register dinner for 2 at this fancy restaurant on the island that night. And then people can give something where they feel like they're actually giving you a gift and not just giving you money.
No, experiences are so much better than gifts. I mean, wouldn't you love to have a hot air balloon ride over Napa as a wedding gift?
I know.
That sounds awesome.
I have quite a few couples right now who are doing sites like that. Right. And I think it's awesome. I see some of the things they're registering for, and I'm like, I would love to do that.
Yep. And that's one of the services that I do provide as well, is helping to put the site together if they want help, or if they just want me to do it all for them and have a turnkey.
Perfect.
Cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
So you do mostly or entirely international destinations?
I do domestic.
You do some domestic?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So how can a couple determine if, say, an international location is the best choice for them? I'm thinking of the traveling. Like, what questions, what things do they need to be aware of when planning an international location?
Of course, the passport always comes up. But there are so many places you can go to without a passport. Okay. You know, Hawaii is a great destination, and we kind of think it's because it's so far away.
Yeah, it seems so exotic.
Yeah. Right. But nope, you can just go there with your driver's license and enjoy paradise there. Yeah. The Florida Keys are great, Napa Valley, different areas like that. Even around New York, Those are great honeymoon spots that, we do.
Yeah, my brother's getting married next year, and they're doing New York.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
they're actually, I'm helping them with their honeymoon site right now because they're going to register for 2 tickets to a Broadway show.
Right.
And,
That's awesome.
things like that. So it gives you those experiences.
Yes.
It's really cool.
So, what other locations do you personally help with? What are your top 10 that you have been seeing couples interested in?
Yeah, so I did bring my top 10 list of
Awesome.
honeymoons,
Cool.
and these destinations have been trending the last 3 to 4 years.
Okay.
And they stay pretty hot. And number 1 is Hawaii.
Okay.
I mean, Hawaii is always a go-to.
Yeah.
It's so easy to get to. I mean, it does take some time to travel there, but like I said, you don't need a passport.
hassle.
You can island hop, so you can experience the city of Waikiki, and then hop over to Maui and just chill and relax and enjoy that. And there's also adventure there, so you kind of get a good feel for everything there. Then Riviera Maya, Mexico is beautiful, and you can have lots of
Yes.
tequila there.
Yeah, I actually was looking at that for myself for vacation.
Yes.
And it also seems like a really budget friendly and time sensitive friendly option because it's just
it's right
an
there.
hour plane ride really.
Right.
It's like an hour and a half, I think.
It's
Yeah.
very easy to get to, very budget friendly. There are some great resorts, a lot of all-inclusive resorts.
Mm-hmm.
So once you get there, you don't have to take out your wallet for every meal, every
Yeah,
drink, every
which is
activity.
great. And there's lots of adult-only resorts.
And then the Riviera Maya area is beautiful because the resorts are set off away from the road. So they're all very tropical looking, and you're not high-rise after high-rise like in the Cancun area.
Right.
So you really feel like you're set off in a paradise, and the beaches are beautiful.
Nice. And you've got the Mayan ruins nearby.
Exactly.
And, cool
And
stuff
some
like
of the
that,
resorts
yeah.
really take to heart their Mayan culture and bring that into the resorts and do different shows with their Mayan culture. And they're very proud of that and like to incorporate that into their activities and the things that they do for the guests.
That's cool.
So I do have a question.
Yes.
What is something you should absolutely not do on your honeymoon?
Should not do.
Fight.
Are there any mistakes? Oh, yeah. Are there any mistakes
Maybe you
that
should
you could
try and not pick fights.
I think you should not overplan.
Okay.
You
That's a
definitely
good
should
idea.
not overplan.
Yeah.
And
I feel like that on all travel. You gotta have a loose idea of what you want to do, but then also be able to go with the flow.
But especially from your honeymoon, because if you're coming off of that wedding high,
You just planned a whole lot.
Yes.
You do not need a play-by-play itinerary.
Exactly. I mean, you might just not want to move from that beach chair, or you might want to 2 days in or 3 days in. So
Give yourself some breathing room.
yes, definitely. I always recommend and a lot of honeymooners are like, we want to do an activity every day. We want excursions every day.
And you're like, you might regret that.
Yeah. Like, let's plan.
Don't
if you're going
commit to
7
it.
days, let's plan 3 out of those 7.
Yes.
Then you can book it while you're there.
Yes, you can pick it up.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's easy enough.
And we have, an itinerary plan for them if they want to follow it, but nothing scheduled.
Very nice.
That's nice.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
so don't
awesome.
overplan.
Don't overplan. Well, we do want to talk a little bit about planning, and we're
Right.
going to bring on our very own Ellen Kramer of A New Leaf. She is the guardian of our sound and our favorite person behind the scenes. No offense, Brian. We love you too. He's giving us dirty looks behind the camera.
Yes.
But
Cheers.
we love Ellen, and we are getting her on camera
Yeah.
for the very first time.
First time. I
And-
refused previously.
And we're going to talk about organizing and prepping for
Forgot my glasses on.
your honeymoon. So you have some advice for us about personality types and honeymoons and packing and all kinds of good things. So.
Yeah, so I think kind of going off of what she was talking about, one of the things that I would like to add about sort of not doing on your honeymoon is work, because I would have a tendency to want to do that because I'm a workaholic. So anyway, aside from that, I think preparing and packing is super important. Some people are kind of like, well, just don't really think about it very much, but it can end up costing a lot of money and frustration and stress if you don't have the things that you need, obviously. So the way that I suggest people approach it is to look at the itinerary that has been put together for them and figure out what types of clothing they will need for whatever activities they're going to be doing. And then, of course, just casual stuff to hang out in, whatever. But really making a plan and a list of what items of clothing they need in addition to the toiletries and any other things that they need just for daily life. Like, sometimes people don't think about, things that they do on a regular basis. Like, I'll just use an example. My husband, we just went on a trip, and he decided he was going to just, not bring anything and didn't take his MP3 player, and he actually uses it every single night to go to sleep. And
small problem.
Yeah, and so, in that case, things like that, if you need it in order to just function on a daily basis or whatever, just pack it. I mean, really.
Right.
Some people overpack, some people underpack, but, you have to kind of find that happy middle where you do have everything that you need that you might think is, extraneous, but in reality, you can't actually function properly during a day or night without having those items.
So on that note, what questions should they ask their travel coordinator, their travel agent, to help them best pack?
So I think definitely the temperature and weather conditions during the time that they'll be there.
You would know that, correct?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And then checking on those things right before you go is super important too. I once took a trip to Denver, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's 60 degrees. It's not that cold." And when I got there, it was a white blanket of snow, and I was wearing shoes like this.
I went to Denver, and it was 30 below, and I was wearing flip-flops. So,
and the dress code.
Oh, yeah.
The dress
Okay,
code
so
of some of the resorts.
Okay. Yeah,
that's very important.
So I think asking any things things like that, I wouldn't even thought of dress code.
Yeah, if you have dinner reservations somewhere, sometimes some places are sports code. You need to know that you have that. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I do think that creating some sort of list, even if you're not a list maker, just, humor me for this one thing, make a list of the things that, even if you start the list a month in advance or whatever, these are the things that I want to have. And so when you are packing, you can be super intentional about what's going in there so you don't forget anything.
Yeah. You're going to be at a very intense time right there. Yeah.
I waste money on every vacation on silly things like sunscreen and things like that they're going to charge you $20 for a tiny tube of because they know they can.
And
and that's basically where I was going with that. It's if you know you're going to need sunscreen, or you know that you're going to need I'm trying to think what there were several things that my husband decided not to take on this little trip that we were going on, and he was making fun of me because I had everything.
And on the flip side too, it's about knowing how to not overpack, because if you're going to Italy and you're going to go shopping, then you don't need to bring 5 fancy outfits. You can bring one and know that you're going to buy some things while you're there. It's about knowing realistically.
And again,
what you need.
knowing if the resort that you'll be at has laundry facility, so that you could possibly reuse something, that kind of thing.
And then if you are going shopping, will you have enough bags to put everything in on the flight home?
Another thing I always tell my brides too is when it comes down to the week of the wedding, especially if you're going to take your honeymoon right after, day after, a couple days after, is try and get all the things like that out of the way so that the week leading up to your wedding is as the least stressful as possible. So you can already have your suitcase pretty much packed without, your basic toiletries and things like that. But having that done a good week in advance.
I totally agree. I mean, I think that, it should just be part of the wedding planning process. It's getting that
And if you have the list,
out of
then
the
you
way.
could hand it over to a best man or maid of honor and say, hey, make sure all of this is in there and you don't have to worry at all.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Cool. Awesome. Are there any other tools or apps or anything that you suggest to keep organized while you're preparing?
I mean, I think that's really personal to each individual person. I mean, is it easier than a pencil is my my motto. Right. And so, honestly, just a piece of paper and a pen, to write down what you need. If you do have, if you're better with technology, just open notes and
make a list
for
yourself, right?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be all complicated. Stuff. I really find that when people try to put too much structure into something like that, it really becomes unnecessarily complex, and then it ends up not being useful.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So, honestly, the simpler, the better.
For packing, I say just make a quick list. But for travel stuff, I will say that Apple Wallet and things like that are awesome.
Yeah.
And, keeping all your tickets and, your essential, travel tools and stuff, all organized. That's great.
I agree with you, and definitely, I think finding the apps that are going to suit how you operate best is the best course of action. So still, the simple concept can be applied to, for you, that makes it simple for you. And so, but for somebody else, so you just have to find what works for you.
What works for you and keep it going.
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Awesome. So, Shannon, if our followers would like to check in with you, see what you're up to, where can they find you on social media?
So, almost everywhere.
Almost everywhere? Okay.
I'm on Facebook.
Okay.
And I actually have a live romance travel TV show on Facebook every Thursday at 3 o'clock Central.
Okay.
Where I talk about all things travel, love, and romance.
Awesome. So they can find that through your page?
Yes, on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com, Paradise Vacation Escapes.
Okay.
Instagram's the same thing.
Okay.
And the website is paradisevacationescapes.com.
Awesome. And Ellen, how about you?
So my primary business is called A New Leaf, and that is an organizing and productivity consulting company. And you can find me on Instagram at Ellen M. Kramer. And my website is anewleafproductivity.com.
Awesome. Well, thank you both so much
for
coming
today.
And
awesome.
I hope you enjoyed the drinks. These are really
good. Ready for the beach.
They're like that spicy kick, but, that sweetness to it.
Yes.
So, cheers. And thank you,
Cheers.
everybody, for joining us for episode 14 of Cocktails with the Crew. We are so happy you came, and look forward to seeing you next time. Please, feel free to rate us on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you're watching or listening. We would love to hear from you. So thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Cocktails with the Crew is a New Orleans Weddings Magazine production, filmed on location at Republic NOLA in New Orleans Warehouse District, featuring host Jessica Talazak, Director of Special Events for Republic NOLA, and Jessica Burke, publisher of New Orleans Weddings Magazine. Audio recording by Ellen Kramer. Video by Brian Jarrow. Theme music Blues Genius by Steve Fox. Copyright 2019 New Orleans Weddings Magazine. Grab a copy of the latest edition of New Orleans Weddings Magazine at a store near you, or have a copy mailed to you. Visit thenowbride.com and click on Get a Copy. That's thenowbride.com. Happy planning from the New Orleans Weddings team.